Hey everybody, how's it going? Wanted to make a quick update. I think it's been a little over a week since I last made a video. So I am currently at just a little over 7 weeks in on Enclomiphine. I started with 60-day supply. I just counted, I have like 9 left. And then I have a new refill ready to go, which actually came from a different company. I can't remember where the first prescription came from, but this new one came from a company called Fortress Pharmaceuticals out of Florida. I don't really like when I see like the pharmacy where medication comes from changing. That happened when I was taking Clomid at with Hone, and it probably is non-related, but when I did start noticing most of my issues after they switched providers of their Clomid. So Clomid had stopped being produced by like the main manufacturer, so Hone had to find a new supplier or a compounding facility. And after that is when I started really having issues. Also, it had been a few months since I'd started, so it could just have been, accumulating over time. It had nothing to do with that. But there was a support community for Home where you can kind of go in and talk to people how they're doing and what's going on with their treatment. And there's actually a lot of people who seem to run into problems after switching to the new compounding facility. So hopefully it's not going to be similar here. Again, not taking Clomid, taking Enclomiphine. So hopefully this company is good that they're giving me now. Like I said, I've had pretty good success so far with the current prescription that I'm on. So, all right, let's get to the update. How have things been going? So I did run into a little bit of what I believe was a high estrogen issue. And before I jump into that, I do want to address a comment that somebody posted, I think on the Clomid versus Enclomiphine video that I made. And I did respond to it with a comment. You can go and read it if you'd like, but they said, basically by taking Clomid or Enclomiphine, you're blocking your estrogen receptors. Therefore, estrogen, high or low, really can't impact your body because it can't bind at the receptors, blah, blah, blah. Although a lot of what they're saying is like theoretically could be possible, you'd have to take an extremely high dose of Clomid or Enclomiphine to cause complete blockage of your estrogen receptors, right? So dose is very important, and if you don't understand, like the dose response curve and things like that, it's important to understand that there's like this threshold, right, where you have response to medication, and then the more you take, the more response you get. So I'm on 12.5 milligrams of Enclomiphine every day. A lot of times people start at 6.25 milligrams every day. That's probably kind of like what they've determined to be like this threshold dose, right? That's where you would start to respond to the medication. 12.5 is kind of like a medium dose. And then I know that you can't even get like 25 milligrams, so you can double from where I'm at, more than quadruple from the bottom, 6.25 that a lot of people start with. So dose is important, right? The more you take, the more blockage, the more potential testosterone you're gonna make, but also you're gonna could completely block your estrogen receptors. And at the 25 milligrams of Clomid that I was taking, was I doing that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't believe so. I know with Clomid, some people even take 50 milligrams a day. So, and which is why I like Enclomiphine, you don't have to take such a high dosage because you're getting just the portion of the Clomid that you're wanting, right? That Enclomiphine. So, yeah. So now my issue recently, things were going good. Libido was through the roof. I was feeling great. My wife and I went on vacation for a few days. We came back for a couple weeks. I made a video during that time. We went on another short vacation just recently. Right before that, I just felt like I had felt this when I was on Clomid after a couple of months, where just like super, I don't know, it'd just be sitting on the couch and I'd feel like a lot of anxiety, right? Like I'd kind of feel this bottled up, kind of like anxious feeling, anxiety. Libido was a little bit lower, I noticed that week. And I was just like, I'm not feeling perfect. And I kind of have this like anxiety feeling. So I noticed, like I said, I noticed that at one time when I was dealing with taking Clomid, I was like, maybe I am at the point, I'm almost 2 months through that I'm having elevated estrogen, and that's impacting me a little bit. So I had some leftover Arimidex from when I was with Hone. So I took just 0.5 milligram, and I was like, let me, worst case I feel worse because I'm going to crash my estrogen, which I don't think would have happened anyways at that low of a dose, especially since my testosterone is probably elevated because I'm on Enclomiphine. So I know my estrogen is likely a little bit higher. So took 0.5 milligram. After about 36 hours, I was feeling much better. Libido was like instantaneously like through the roof after about 48 hours, and things were good again. So was it because of that? I guess we'll see and find out. So I did that. Let's see, today is a Sunday. I took it I actually did take it again this previous Friday, but the first time I took it was last Friday. So probably like my week 6 mark is when I ran into that. So I started to feel a little bit maybe this last Friday. I was like, it's been 7 days since I took it. Usually when you're if you are going to take like a Arimidex regularly, you take it every 3 to 4 days. A lot of times it's a higher dose than what I was taking, but I was like, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to go ahead. It's been 7 days. Take 0.5 milligram. Actually, I think I only took 1/3, so it was probably like a little less than 0.5 milligram, just to see if it maintains there. If I start feeling crappy again, and then I know that I have potentially crashed my estrogen, I just stop taking it. The good thing about Arimidex is it's out of your system typically after, I think, like 30 to 60 hours is like the half-life, so it's probably out of your system in a week, which is why I thought, hey, it's been 7 days. Any residual that I maybe had left in my body was already gone, so let's just go ahead and take another 0.5 milligram. And so far, like I said, that was 2 days ago. Since I took the second dose of Arimidex, and feeling pretty good. Let's see. So that's kind of like the biggest update. Yeah, that's the first kind of little thing that I ran into that I wasn't really sure if it was due to the Enclomiphine, if it's due to stress, if it's due to something else. But based on the results of me taking some Arimidex and then actually feeling a little bit better a day or two later, which usually takes about at least 24 hours for your estrogen to come down after you take Arimidex, and then probably a little bit of time for your body to actually feel a little bit different from it. So yeah, going forward, I need to get a hold of Peter MD and tell them like, hey, I had potentially some estrogen issues. From that, they will then prescribe me some new Arimidex, so I'm not taking the leftover stuff I had from Hone. It'll probably just start accompanying my prescription. I don't think I have to pay anything extra for it. I want to believe that they said if you do need it, then they provide it. If you don't need it, then they don't provide it. But yeah, so going forward, just going to continue on my path. Like, nothing really negative. Haven't had headaches, haven't had mood swings really, haven't had any eye issues like some people talk about Clomid. I will admit that I felt that I was having a little bit of eye issues on Clomid, not like severely like some people can have, although very rare, but I haven't felt that at all since being on Enclomiphine. But yeah, so I believe after this 60 days, I have another 60-day prescription. And then I will be getting my blood tests done to see where am I sitting and what do we need to do next. Training's gone well. I feel like my strength is starting to go back up again since I stopped taking Clomid, although I've traveled a couple times in the last few weeks, so haven't been as regular as I usually am, but that was the last little trip for the rest of the year. So hopefully by end of year I can hit some new PRs. I'd like to end the year on another bench press PR. So it had been like 4 years since I hit a PR until I got on Clomid and got my testosterone in the right level. So during that last training cycle, right, I just ended Clomid. I think I hit 275 for an easy, and that was like a 15-20 pound jump from where I'd been like 3 or 4 years ago. So that was good. It tells me that my low testosterone is not just impacting my mood and stuff, but also is impacting my ability to progress in the gym. So hopefully by end of year, I'd like to hit like a 285, if I get really lucky, like a 295. But we'll see. If I can stay on track with my workouts, that'd be the biggest one. Oh, and in my previous videos, I was talking a lot about my weight, and I was trying to lose weight. Well, I'll tell you that these last 2 little trips that I took with my wife has not helped me at all. I'm back to where I basically started, like 217. But I will say that even my wife agrees, because that I look a little bit larger, not as far as like fat, but like shoulders are looking a little more broad, chest is looking, popping out a little bit more, arms are looking a little bigger. So that's always a plus. I do need to get on a better diet. Again, I'd like to get down to like 200, 205. That'd be a good weight for me. But yeah, besides my little issue with what I believe was a high estrogen problem, the only other thing that's been plaguing me is hunger. Like, I've been extremely hungry all the time, and not making the best choices when I am hungry on what I'm eating. So I need to do better about that. But yeah, so if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer you. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will be making another update next week when I finish this 60-day run, and hopefully there's nothing new to report in the next 9 days other than that I'm feeling great. But yeah, have a good rest of your day. Those of you who are still taking or on Enclomiphine, I see you in the comments. Please continue to update everybody with how you're doing, how you're feeling, if you're having any results. And the biggest thing I can tell you is just stay on it if you're not having any negative impacts. Some people are like, been taking it a week, not feeling anything. That's fine. Take it 4 to 6 weeks and then tell me if you're not feeling anything. Also, there is a potential that it just doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for everybody at the end of the day. And it also depends on the type of, or what's causing your low testosterone. If there's type 1 or type 2 or primary, secondary, I can't remember what they refer to it as for hypogat, however you say that word. But for your low testosterone, either your testes aren't working and they can't work, in which case you just have to go on testosterone, or there's an issue with the message from your brain to your testes to tell it to produce, and that's when Enclomiphine does work. So yeah, have a good rest of your day, and talk at you later.